I know with all of the devastation and destruction Donald Trump has caused in the United States and the world, it can be easy to forget all of his broken promises. Like, I'm sure you remember his broken promise that he would bring down prices on day one, but he's now caused prices to rise. Or he said he would make housing more affordable. Housing is less affordable. He said he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours or even before he took office. And of course, he's made things worse there, and he just whines about it now. But you also remember the promise that he made that he was going to release certain files. Remember those? Maybe Donald Trump was hoping that in all of the chaos and destruction and market crashes and economic crashes, we'd forget, that we would just not report about it anymore. Sorry, Donald. The MeidasTouch Network, where are the media now? And you know who brought up those files, Donald? You know the ones I'm talking about. Nancy Mace, MAGA Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace, at a hearing 3 days ago this week. Here is what she said. Play this clip.
Right before our eyes. And they are doing this in real time with regards to the Epstein list, which the government still has not released today. And the American people deserve to know who rich and powerful is on that list and who the government is covering up for. So for decades,
I could think of someone whose name is on that list. Aha! It's on the list right there, Donald. There's your name. That's on Jeffrey Epstein's phone number list of the people whose numbers he had on his Rolodex. That was already released in connection with some of the other cases that he was involved in. Oh, there you are again, Donald, on the flight logs. Your name appears on the Epstein jet's flight logs at least 7 times. What's that, Donald? Is that your name on deposition transcripts where some of the women that Epstein trafficked went to hotels and casinos that you owned, and the women who were trafficked talked about that in depositions? Oh, wait a minute, Donald. At Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal trial for sex trafficking on behalf of Epstein, where she was found guilty and basically put in jail for the rest of her life, a lady who was a girl at the time, who was 14 years old, said that Epstein introduced her to you. She goes by a Jane Doe. Oh, wait a minute, Donald. You appear to be everywhere on what's already been released over and over again. So what about in the files that you said you were going to release? Pam Bondi, your attorney general, she's made 5,000 appearances on Fox. But in terms of the new Epstein files released, 0. New Epstein prosecutions, 0. Oh, yeah, what about fraud prosecutions from Doge? 0. Oh, yeah, Donald, during the 2024 campaign, weren't you flying around in Epstein's jet as well? Yeah, the jet that Epstein flew around in before he died under, let's just call it unusual circumstances during the first Trump administration period. Remember when Epstein passed away, he died, his plane was then auctioned off or sold, and then that individual, then I guess, or that company gave you access to the same jet to fly around for the 2024 campaign. That's pretty ghoulish, Donald. That's out of all the planes in the world, you want to fly around in that Gulf Stream right there. Oh, and is this a statement that you made, Donald, back to the New York Magazine in 2002? Quote, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." So, Nancy Mace, MAGA Republicans, where are the Epstein files? Release the Epstein files. What are you worried about? What are you scared about? Well, let's hear Jeffrey Epstein in his own words when he spoke to author Michael Wolff, when he was meeting with Michael Wolff, an author, a biographer, about potentially, when Epstein was still alive, about potentially writing a biography for Epstein. Here's some of the things that Epstein said about Donald. This is Epstein talking to Michael Wolff. This is Epstein's voice. So listen to what he said. Play this clip.
Charming. He is able to convince people, so he tells everybody what they want to hear.
So how do you know this?
And that was supposed to straight.
He has a sense of humor. He can be funny.
He's great. His ability to sell. It's very much like Clinton. Both Bill and Donald have the ability to go over to a fat, ugly woman, say, you are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So you probably know he had a scalp reduction. Because he had the same male pattern movement that we all have. He's not a horrible human being. He does nasty things to his best friends' wives. Anyone who first tries to gain your trust and then uses it to do bad things. That's how it goes.
Now, I had the opportunity to speak to Michael Wolff, the author who you heard in those audio transcripts. Wolff spent a lot of time with Epstein when Epstein talked about Trump. Let's hear from Wolff in his own words. Play this clip.
And he sat for many, many hours of discussion with me. I mean, certainly 80, 90, probably 100 hours I have of Epstein on tape. And one of the discussions, because this was occurring, Trump became the president in 2017. I began writing about Trump. And so we spent a lot of time talking about Donald Trump and Epstein's relationship with Trump, which went on for a good, certainly 15 years, and was incredibly close. They were, each other's closest friend for a very long time. And Epstein, I think Epstein is one of those people who truly knew Donald Trump, knew many secrets about Donald Trump, and was threatening to Donald Trump.
My cat is part of the family, plain and simple. So I want them to have the best food that money can buy. And I didn't realize that for years, the cat food that I was buying had questionable ingredients. This podcast is sponsored by Smalls. Now, if you're a listener of the show, you know that my cat cannot live without Smalls. To get 50% off your first order plus free shipping, head to smalls.com and use promo code MIDAS. Smalls cat food is protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free ingredients that you'd find in your fridge, and it's delivered right to your door. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. My cat's favorite flavor is smooth fish, and my cats prefer Smalls way more than their previous cat food. I legitimately did a taste test, put two bowls side by side, and they immediately went to Smalls. Since making the switch to Smalls, my cat has had fewer hairballs, more balanced energy, a healthier weight, a softer and shinier fur coat, and a less stinky litter box that's big. Still not a believer in Smalls? Well, New York Magazine called Smalls the best cat food, according to veterinarians, while BuzzFeed said, my cats went completely ballistic for this stuff. My cat's breath is much better, and their fur is much softer ever since I switched to Smalls. Smalls also has a bunch of amazing treats and snacks that you can add to your order. And after switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. That's a big deal. Do you have a picky cat? Well, Smalls has a sampler so that your cat can try everything Smalls has to offer. And the team at Smalls is so confident that your cat will love their product that you can try it risk-free. That means they will refund you if your cat won't eat their food. What are you waiting for? Give your cat the food they deserve. Head to smalls.com and use promo code MIDAS, M-E-I-D-A-S, at checkout for 50% off your first order plus free shipping. That's the best offer that you'll find, but you have to use my code MIDAS for 50% off your first order. One last time, that's promo code MIDAS for 50% off your first order plus free shipping.
Interesting. Now, why don't I share with you this clip that MSNBC put together about Trump's relationship with Epstein. Let's play it.
We're going to get great ratings in your show.
Trump is surrounded by women as music blares in the background. After a while, Trump goes to greet three new guests. Among them, the financier Jeffrey Epstein. More than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges. Later in the footage, Trump is seen talking to Epstein and another man as women are dancing in front of them. Trump alternates between dancing and pointing out women to Epstein and the other man and telling Epstein about the cameras. Though exactly what they say is difficult to understand as they discuss the women and their appearances. Trump gestures to one and appears to say to Epstein, "Look at her back there. She's hot." And then Trump says something else into Epstein's ear that makes him double over with laughter. But as the president says now, he never liked Epstein.
I was not a
Interestingly, Sean Hannity recently said on Fox to his audience that the Epstein list, if it's ever released, people should not rush to judgment because a lot of famous people hung out with Epstein, and just because you hang out with people, he said, isn't a big deal. Here, play this clip.
Today, the Attorney General Pam Bondi released phase 1 of the Epstein files. That's transparency. There are a lot of names in there, and Epstein was obviously a star chaser who wanted to hang out with people that are famous, people with money. So let me be very clear at the start here, and I said this on my radio show today. People, because they're in the Rolodex, they're on the list, does not mean they did anything wrong. On this show, and we have done it over and over again, we don't rush to judgment. We believe in the presumption of innocence, and I am appealing to people not to rush to judgment. Even though these names are now public information, there are names that I'm certain were not involved or knowledgeable of this. I could be certain of it.
Among the documents are flight logs in which President Donald Trump is named several times. According to the records, Trump flew on Epstein's private jets repeatedly back in the 1990s. Now, this isn't new information as it had previously been made public.
Well, that's from Sean Hannity right there. And I want you to listen to this. This is when Donald Trump was interviewed by Fox several months ago. And here's what Donald Trump said when he was asked about the Epstein files. Let's play it.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
Are you sensing a pattern here? Are you sensing a pattern here? By the way, I mean, just think about what Donald Trump did with his wealth in the early 1990s. Like, it's gross. It's gross, right? Like, just think about you have all the money from your dad, right? That's where he got all his money from his dad, a lot of money from his dad. And so he spends the money to do beauty pageants for girls. He did beauty pageants. He did like beauty pageants for women, but he also did these like teen beauty pageants. And then like, here's one that was at his hotel from Look of the Year, 1991. Like these are like little girls at his events. And then the girls went on a yacht in New York, and Trump was photographed with the girls. You see the photograph here? Donald Trump with contestants at 1991's Elite Look of the Year. Look at him looking at these girls. They went on a yacht together. This yacht trip was well documented with other old men who were old enough to be the women's grandfathers. And that was talked about in an article in The Guardian. Some real gross stuff. And by the way, here's a flashback to 2005 where Donald Trump bragged to Howard Stern about how he would go backstage during a Miss USA pageant when the young contestants were naked. Here, play this clip.
Well, you could also say as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. Right, I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like.
I mean, this is. Look, I know with the market crashing, with our alliances being destroyed, with Trump threatening Canada, threatening invading Canada, and all of these things. Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Let me not mince words here. Donald Trump's a sexual predator. Donald Trump's a felon. Donald Trump's a fraud. Let me repeat that again. Donald Trump is a sexual predator. He was found liable of sexual assault. Donald Trump is a fraud. He was found liable of fraud, lying about his business valuations. Sounds shocking to you? Kind of like how he just makes up tariff numbers? Oh my God, the guy who lies about things and makes up numbers engaged in fraud? Oh my God, really? What a shocker right there. Donald Trump is a felon. Donald Trump was convicted in a criminal case by a unanimous jury for business records fraud. By the way, Donald Trump also took national secrets when he was Citizen Trump to Mar-a-Lago. Classified information, potentially nuclear secrets. So is it shocking that the people in his regime are sending classified information over Gmail and Signal text threats? No, this is all very predictable stuff. I'll leave you with this too. How sick and demented he is. So back about a year and a half ago, he gave a speech in front of young Republicans, high school kids, college kids, young Republicans, high school kids, college kids, young. And he was keynoting the speech. And he told the kids that the most courageous thing he had ever done in his life, according to a general, said it was the most courageous thing he saw. Remember when Donald Trump said that he grabs women by their genitals without their consent? Remember how that was on that Access Hollywood tape? Well, remember when Donald Trump called it locker room talk? Said it's locker room talk. And he said that's how men talk. No, it isn't. That's how disgusting people like you talk. Not men talk. What are you talking about? Disgusting. But anyway, Donald Trump told the young Republicans that he was told that was the most courageous thing he did, calling that locker room talk. Here he is in his own words. Let's hear it.
But I went onto that stage just a few days later, and a general, who's a fantastic general, actually said to me, "Sir, I've been on the battlefield. Men have gone down on my left and on my right. I stood on hills where soldiers were killed. But I believe the bravest thing I've ever seen was the night you went onto that stage with Hillary Clinton after what happened. And then that woman asked you the first question about it. And I said, locker room talk. It's locker room talk. What the hell? What are you talking? Locker room talk." That was not a great...
So we're dealing with a sick, demented, twisted sexual predator. That's who we're dealing with here. And so, you know, it is shocking to me how corporate news has normalized this behavior. This isn't normal. It's not funny. You know, and when I see stuff like that, it makes me just extra dedicated to do more videos, to grow this media network bigger, because what the hell is that? And no, we're not going to stop reporting about the Epstein list. I'm going to come with receipts all the time here. Anyway, let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.